Some people move on after loss. Some people try to forget. And some people write letters to someone who is already gone. In 1946, a physicist named Richard Feynman wrote a letter to his wife, Arline, 2 years after she had died. He never mailed it. This is what he wrote. Darlene, I adore you, sweetheart. I know how much you like to hear that, but I don't only write it because you like it. I write it because it makes me warm all over inside to write it to you. It has been such a terribly long time since I last wrote to you, almost 2 years. But I know you'll excuse me. You understand how I am, stubborn and realistic, and I thought there was no sense in writing. But now I know, my darling wife, that it is right to do what I have delayed in doing. I want to tell you I love you. I want to love you. I always will love you. I find it hard to understand what it means to love you after you are dead, but I still want to comfort you and take care of you. I want you to love me and care for me. I want to have problems to discuss with you. I want to do little projects with you. I never thought until just now that we could do that. What should we do? We started to learn to make clothes together, or learn Chinese, or get a movie projector. Can't I do something now? No. I am alone without you. And you were the idea woman, the general instigator of all our wild adventures. When you were sick, you worried that you couldn't give me something you thought I needed. You didn't need to worry. Just as I told you then, there was no real need. Because I loved you in so many ways, so much. And now it is even more true. You can give me nothing now, yet I love you so that you stand in my way of loving anyone else. But I want you to stand there. You, dead, are so much better than anyone else alive. I know you would tell me I am foolish, that you would want me to have full happiness, that you wouldn't want to be in my way. But you can't help it, darling, nor can I. I don't understand it. I have met many girls, very nice ones. I don't want to remain alone. But after 2 or 3 meetings, they all seem ashes. Only you are left to me. You are real. My darling wife, I do adore you. I love my wife. My wife is dead. Rich. Please excuse my not mailing this, but I don't know your new address. This isn't romance. This is grief that refuses to forget. This is love that doesn't disappear when a body does. He didn't write this letter to heal. He didn't write it to be poetic. He wrote it because love doesn't stop just because someone is gone. We talk about moving on, but sometimes love doesn't move on. Sometimes it stays. Sometimes it becomes quiet. Sometimes it becomes memory. Sometimes it becomes a letter that no one was ever meant to read. People like to say time fixes everything. But time doesn't erase love. It just teaches it how to live without a voice. There is a kind of suffering that comes from loss, And then there is a deeper one, the suffering of continuing to love when there is nowhere left to place it. That's what this is. Not heartbreak, devotion with nowhere to go. He isn't mourning what he lost. He is living with what remains. And what remains is love. Still faithful to someone who cannot answer back. That is not weakness. That is courage. Because it takes strength to keep loving when there is no reward. It takes strength to stay loyal to a memory. It takes strength to accept that some connections don't end. They simply change form. He could have forgotten. He could have distracted himself. He could have replaced her. But he didn't. Instead, he wrote. Because writing was the only place his love could still exist. And maybe that's what unconditional love really is. Not fireworks, not promises, not forever. Just choosing someone, even when they can no longer choose you back. And maybe love isn't about possession. Maybe love is simply recognition. Seeing someone so deeply that even death cannot unsee them. Some people leave this world, but they never leave the heart. They stay in small habits, in unfinished sentences, in songs you can't listen to anymore, in projects that were supposed to be shared. They stay in silence. They stay in letters. They stay in the way you still speak their name when no one is listening. And maybe that's the final truth. Love doesn't end. People do. We often think love is something that happens between two people. But sometimes love becomes something you carry alone. A quiet weight in your chest. A presence in empty rooms. A conversation that never ends in your mind. Some philosophers wrote that the deepest human pain isn't death. It's feeling unnecessary. It's waking up every morning knowing the world continues perfectly fine without the person who made it feel meaningful. Yet here he is, still speaking to her, still choosing her.